how did you get to a point to identify a bit of like, this is my contribution. This is the piece that I'm going to do extremely well. And you were like, I find comfort, because sometimes you can get intoxicated just feeling like you never reach a goal.
I know. And there's always going to be one person ahead of you, or 10 or 100. I mean, and so that's part of the recognition that, okay, so to find your fit, I had some really propitious things happen right at the start of COVID. It was December 2019, and I said, you know what? I am done with my office. I don't want to have it. Everybody's remote. Go. I canceled the lease 3 months before COVID. Otherwise, I would have been paying for empty space, just listening. And then after that, my employees went here and there, and I'm like, let's go freelance instead. Let's do this. And one by one, I just kind of let the natural forces of attrition and or reshuffling come into place. And I realized, what I need is copious amounts of time for developing bigger projects. And again, in the coaching world and the personal growth world, for a long time, it was, what's your next offer? What's your next offer? What's your next offer? And because you're paying bills, you're paying your staff, you're paying, and it becomes this cycle of churning through your best teachings. And I said, I don't want to be a churner anymore. I want to be a laster. I want to write those books that, stay there perpetually. How do I structure my life and my work day so that I even have the ability to do that? So I began opening these longer periods of time for myself. I call it, as a name, I nicknamed it during COVID, I call it slow time. Slow time versus the normal time. Normal speed time is answer emails, get all the stuff done, check in with projects, blah, 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 blah. Slow time is you sit there in front of your computer for a while and you say, well, I made sure that this entire week I have nothing planned. That means that this book that's noodling around is going to start talking to me. And it's not going to start talking fast. It's going to talk slow. It's going to talk in dribs and drabs. There'll be some huge spurts of it. One day I'll write for 8 hours. But I have to slow all my being down to be able to bring in those bigger, what I think of now as sort of pivoting visions, as opposed to just climbing through what's the next need I can fill. But for me, it's almost like a decades long shift in the making, because I've been doing this now for 20 years. And I came to this realization that I have so much content now. I have so much that I've put out over 2 decades. Where is it going to go? Like, what legacy am I going to end up giving to this world? So I shifted from rampant content creation, which for me was my 30s and my 40s. And now that I'm in my 50s, 50s, I'm thinking, when am I going to cut back? When do I want to retire? In how many years? A couple of years? Do I want to have the option to? Or are there still things that want to come out? So my vision has really been shifting over the last couple of years. And it changes the way that I do just about everything, including, like you said, the size and the scope of what I want to hold around me. Mm-hmm. I believe hugely in the concept of capacity, but I think it's often overused. And people take it to mean I will work myself to the bone, because I have all that capacity. Meanwhile, their health is slowly crumbling inside, and they're sniffling in bed at night thinking, I have no clients, right? And they're caught in this loop, and I don't think you need to be. I have always rested in this, support, universal support. But that's what I teach, right? Universal support, being in flow, that I'm getting what I need when I need it, no matter what it looks like. So whatever I'm facing, I'm like, why do I have this now? And if it's a big slow period, why do I have this now? What should I be putting in this? Because the things I thought were going to be on my work schedule aren't happening. So what is actually being asked of me? And that's where your book will come up, or your new card deck idea will come up, or your new desire to lecture, or even just flat out go into a different area than you've been teaching or doing. I'm going to pause for a second and let you talk.
No, before I talk, I'm just sitting and I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. And I feel well about that. Like, I really like the vibe that you're coming across, because I think that's a refreshing thing in a world that's just really hyper active, hyper action oriented, hyper do more, be more. And you need more followers, you need more subscribers, you need more, and it's never enough.
It's
And
endless. It's a churn. And this world right now will suck every living piece out of you to feed the big content machine that we are going into. It makes sense though, because if we think about the era that we're in, we had the age of industrialization, the Enlightenment, all the different eras. We are literally in the age of communication. That's everything. Since the internet opened it up, now we're going into AI. It's all just more and more communication. And we're all starting to feel like we're shouting in the wind because there's so much communication. How can you be heard in this? But we have a choice. We can let it drain us dry, or we can pull back a little bit, focus on what's important to us. Which pieces do we really treasure? But that's a cultural civilization level shift and an individual shift. I know I'm getting philosophical here, but I can be sucked into, how come I haven't posted on Instagram in 6 months? That's ruining my business. And then I think, you know why? Because I'm actually working with some really great people who are breaking through right now. And that's absorbing my emotional, energetic attention. That's what I'm here for. But we have to get to that point of strength in ourselves to be able to clarify like that. Every single one of us, not just we content teachers.
yeah. Now, the reason I'm so like out of words right now is I think I went through some moment like that last year. And, you know, I was like, okay, I need to be an author. I need to get influencers. Then I was like hiring this guy to do some short reel strategy on Instagram because I need more followers. And I hated it, but I thought I needed to do it. Then I was creating this membership and I was trying to serve the clients. And I was like, I'm not excited about this. What's going on? Then I was like, I need a high ticket program. And then I did it. And I did some great results for the clients that bought it. But I was like, this is not bringing fire to me. And and I was looking at my business and I was like burning through a lot of money. I had a bit too many staff. And it was only once I went on a trip. And it's so funny. I went on a trip to step away from the grind. I even played a lot of video games during that time. Okay.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, like, speaking engagement come, amazing client of a completely different caliber that worked on skill sets I hadn't flexed in so long that made me so much happier to work on. And I completely reinvented my business where now I'm getting contracts that are of a completely different nature than what I was building before. But I was so into I need to keep the wheels turning and this kind of like fight and flight stress mode that you speak about this slow time. Thank you so much for listening to the Selling with Love podcast. We have some previous episodes you can tune into right here. And if you prefer the short form content where you get to the point in under 10 minutes, we do have a ton of clips from our best episodes that are being shared on this channel as well. So pick which one supports you the most. And of course, thank you for liking, subscribing, and of course, selling with love.